Alright, what's going on, y'all? Just now getting around to doing the 1 year follow-up video on my Veto Pro Pack MC. It's evening here in South Texas. You can hear the cicadas going. Hopefully that don't ruin the video. Here we go, man. I love this thing so far. I know I said I might replace it with a larger bag, maybe that MCT, but here I am after over a year. Still got the MC. Bam. So let's start off with what I don't carry in the Emcee bag. This is what I carry in my pockets. A good Milwaukee little razor knife. Don't got to worry about sharpening it. Change the blade out. Good to go. That old Inksol will seem to hold up better than a standard Sharpie. Always good to have that. Mark all your capacitors, date, and everything else. Anytime you change a part out, make a note of it on the inside of the system. I don't know, CYA kind of thing. My bits. Quarter. I love these little guys. Got that magnet that slides out. You can clean the crap out of them. My 3/8. You know, you need that sometime for lower motors. I keep the 7/16 up there, and all my little blower motor change out stuff. A little sneakity peek in there. Brass hammer. That little knockout tool, and all the other goodies. We can do that on another video. Man, this little UEI thermostat with the magnet. Comes in awfully handy. Sucker's good and accurate. I got a field piece one too, but I like that one better. Keep that in my pocket every day. Here's something else. If you learn nothing else from my videos, not another thing, carry a spare key to your van in the pocket, because you will get locked out. Keep that sucker in your pocket. It'll save your ass. If nothing else, it'll save you some embarrassment. I use that more than I should, probably once a week. Alright, getting into the bag. That's all the stuff I carry and just in my pockets. And I didn't talk about this. Love this little guy. Knipex, Knipex, whatever you want to call it. This thing would focus. Anyway, it's the 8701 150. It locks in. I use this for getting off the fucking Schrader valve caps. And whatever else, man. It comes in 1001 uses. Little pair of channel locks in your pocket. But man, they got the good tool steel on these teeth. These suckers rule. They cost like 25, 30 bucks a pair if you get them on Amazon or wherever else. But man, it's worth it, because these things will probably last when these handles are long gone. 100 years from now, these suckers will probably still be damn good. I carry those in my front pocket. Use them every day. Alright, on to the Emcee bag. Look at that beautiful bastard. It's got a little battle tested, battle worn. Got a few scars on it, but it is holding up awesome. I've had it since March of 2016, and here we are, July of 2017. Some modifications I've made to it. I got the strap off of the OTXXL, which they don't make anymore. I got it off of eBay used for $150, which sounds like a lot until you consider that brand new they were $330, something like that. That thing rides around the van 99.99% of the time. I got kind of overflow. I don't do a ton of install, but if I get more into doing install, I'm probably going to set that up primarily just for install. But right now it just rides in the van, carries stuff like my hacksaw, duck knife, my hammer drill, some of the metalworking stuff, a hammer, a flat bar, you know, just open-end wrenches, stuff you don't use every day, like, you know, some scissors and backup little razor knife. But I put that strap off of here because, man, carrying this sucker around, that hoe bag's about 30 pounds, so that gets a little old on your shoulders. So threw this nice padded strap on there. Makes it a lot easier to carry around. What's in the Klein bag? If you can see those back there. Manifold, my S-Man, all that stuff. They got a lot of hoses and dangly stuff. That gets annoying to carry around. So that's why I got what I like to call the C-Connect. No wait, the P-Connect. Not the Z-Connect. Sorry, cowboys of HVAC. This is the P-Connect. This is all you ever need right here. No hoses, no temperature clamps, right there. Got your 45 little quick seal rights or whatever on there. These gauges show you the pressure of the system. Bam. That's 90% of your damn troubleshooting right there. If you got to add refrigerant, well, you can always go get those. But I carry those guys on me. And if you especially got to go up on a roof or a platform, man, those things come in handy. Saves you a lot of dragging around extra crap and a lot of frustration. So anyway, that's what I come up with. Actually, I'm gonna make me another set, probably with some yellow jacket gauges, and throw them in another deal, because I got a lot of customers. I do, you know, maintenance checks. We have a maintenance club, and sometimes they got an upstairs and a downstairs system, and sometimes you got a rooftop unit where you have 2 compressors, therefore 2 circuits. So I'm actually gonna make another set of those, but I'm gonna use yellow jacket gauges, just kind of change it up, see how those do. But I'm real happy with that. I recommend carrying stub gauges around. Let's jump into the bag. Outside pockets. See, this is one of the reasons I didn't go with the Tech MCT. It is a little taller, which is cool. You can get them long nut drivers in there. But I like the open top pockets, because you can reach in here and get stuff like your Schrader cores. I change those suckers out every time I got to get into a system. Anytime I got to pull a Schrader valve out to pull a vacuum or do anything, man, just replace those things. They cost like 50 cents a piece. Replace them bad boys. This little furnace fooler, I see a lot of people make their little homemade jobby. Man, I spent the 20 bucks, whatever it was, just got the genuine one. Wherever the hell they make these things, at least that's putting dinner on somebody's table, and it's awfully handy on a lot of those furnaces. It works on most of them. Sometimes it doesn't work real well on the odd one, but for most of them, man, it's worth having. What else I got in this bag? This is goes in your 1/4 inch little impact, just a drill bit. And if we could zoom in here and see what size it is. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah, it's your 1/4 inch. So that's for installing thermostats. I just have a new one. One of them fell out of the bag. Actually, I had the flopping around, walking across someone's yard, and it fell out like that. So I got a new one. Squeegee. Sometimes you gotta get your old pookie tape, that old hard cast. Got to get that and make some little repairs where people got a leak on their duct or one of those doors, especially on your Linuxes. Man, thank goodness for Linux. People bash Goodman, but man, ain't nothing like a Linux for a crooked door or doors that don't match up. But you gotta make that air tight or whatever. Your pookie tape and your good old squeegee. My little black light. Woo! Look at that. Going to the dark side. This is just a little cheapy yellow jacket one. I really wish I could get a better one, but this one works, and that'll find most of my leaks, because we're all about using the dye in the system, the leak detectors, and some of the other methods. I mean, bubbles will pretty much, that's a long drawn out process, spraying bubbles all over everything. We generally shoot that dye in there and come back, bam, no bones about it. Where the dye is, that's where your leak is. So I carry that on me because I do quite a bit of leak checks. We got a lot of Linuxes, so therefore we got a lot of leaks. There we go, just a little abrasive stuff right there. That's all for that outside pocket. Man, we're 8 minutes into the video. I hadn't even opened up the bag. Alright, so here's how I set up my bag. Where it's in layers, kind of. You make the most of a small bag. This bad boy's in layers. Let's get some light up here. Alright. The Milwaukee brushless 1/4 inch impact, the 12 volt. That sucker's skinny. Doesn't have that big ass square battery on the bottom. You can get it into stuff, get around stuff. Man, zip them doors off. That's the one to use. Don't waste money on the regular one. Get the brushless. Spend that extra few bucks, because that battery, man, that battery lasts forever. It lasts you a couple weeks before you got to charge it. General use. Alright, so underneath that, the first thing you're going to do when you get to a job, you're going to zip off all them panels. So you grab that. Then you go inside the bag. So let's do this. The old brush, man, you got to have that. Clean off coils, do whatever else. Get them spider webs and cobwebs off condensers. All your wiring and everything. And it's pretty much, it's not rated for like electrical being insulated or anything, but you can get those cobwebs and crap off of there, and you don't have to worry about getting shocked like on top of a capacitor or contactor or whatever. The goodie box. Gotta have that goodie box. It's a little husky one. They got them at every Home Depot across the country. If you ain't got one of these, go get one. They got this one, then they got one that's a little bit, it's a little bit thinner, I think, and a little bit taller, a little bit wider. But this one fits really good in the Emcee bag. I got the other one that I keep in the cab of my truck. My old blue bubbles. There you go. Check them Schrader caps. Make sure they're not leaking. Don't do a half-ass job. Check your Schrader caps when you get done. When you take your gauges off, hit them with a little bubble. And you know, also it's good. It's not like the spray bottle where you put a ton of soap on there. But you can at least check a filter dryer, or you can check your if you do a little quick solder job, you can check throw some nitrogen in there and dab this on there and see if you did a good job or not. A little plastic level, inexpensive one. You can get a fancy aluminum one, a heavy one, but when you're trying to put something like a thermostat up, you want something light that's not going to push down the wall, because you want to sit there and hold it up while you're making your mark with your pen, or you're putting up a mini split. This thing's light, it does its job. All it has to do is have a little bubble in there. Get that bubble in the middle, boom, you're good. Moving on. Little vitamin container that's got all kind of spare screws. That adds quite a bit of weight to the bag, just like having that drill in there. But man, that'll get you out of a bind, keep you from going all the way back to the truck, because you're going to drop a screw. And then when you're scrapping units in the yard during the slow times during the winter, just load up with screws and fittings and everything else you pull off those units. That'll last you through the summer. Little mirror, sucker comes in handy. Also got a big one, of course, on my torches. And I know what you're wondering, is it got a big ass crack in the glass? You goddamn right it is. It ain't a real good HVAC mirror unless it's got a cracked glass on it. They ought to just come from the damn supply house cracked. Moving on. Little brass bristle brush right here. 1001 uses. You go and doing a maintenance check on somebody's house, you pull a wire off the top of a contactor, they're a little rusty. Like I said, don't do a half-ass job. Scrape it off there, get good conductivity, put a new end on that thing. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. Little magnetic pickup tool. This is the El Cheapo one, but hey, it does the job. You drop a screw inside of something, fish it on out of there. Crimpers. I used those little combination crimpers, a little Crescent one, for a long time, and I finally went to I like using these actual crimpers to put my little stake-on ends on there. Yeah, these are some Greenlee ones. They work really well. I like the fact that the part for doing insulated is here at the very bottom, so you just down to it. This part right here is for doing the non-insulated ones, which I don't use because I like having those insulated connectors. These little blue guys right here. Let's zoom on over in my goodie box. You hadn't gone out and got yourself a goodie box yet? God dang, go get one. What are you waiting on? These little rascals, these little blue flag connectors, I like those. And these are the ones I put on everything. Well, not everything, these yellow ones for the big ones, you know what I'm talking about. But your smaller wires, everything else, those little guys. We got a big problem with geckos down here. Geckos cause, oh hell, 25% of the service calls I get, because they get in between a contactor and something, or the capacitor and something inside that condenser, and then it shorts out. So you put those on there, you got nothing but these on top of your contactor, on top of your capacitor. It keeps a short from happening. Like I said, you're doing a maintenance check, those wires, the ends of the wires, the little connectors, are those little cheap solid metal ones with no insulation on there. Man, slap on some of these, take the extra 5 minutes, do your customer a good job. Bam. It'll save you from getting called out on a Saturday, on a weekend. Moving on. This is something an old school guy taught me. Get you the old 3/16 long handle or long shaft screwdriver. Put a little slot in it. See that right there? You get that, you pry up your little spade connectors. And also it's just long enough, that extra length, you can get in the side of your condenser and flip your little fan blade and see if you got bad bearings in that condenser fan. Get you one of those. Look, that's VDE rated. That's electrical proof right there. You're not going to get shocked. Nah, not really, but it's probably better than nothing. Moving on. Oh hell, that's about it. That's about it for this bag. This bag's got all my jumper wires, my short pro tool, my mini popper, all that little good stuff. Little popper, the little popper. Yeah, that's what all's in there. I don't need to dig it out. Y'all know what it is. My wire strippers. There you go. The ones without the little crimpy stuff on there. Like I said, I like using this combination right here. Strip it, crimp it. That's what works for me. All right, that's one side. Moving on to my meter. I got the field piece. I broke out like in the chemical plants and stuff using a fluke. Fluke's great, but a field piece is more specialized for HVAC. So that's what I carry. Y'all know what a meter looks like. I don't know why I'm showing you, but I went with the 440. I like it because beep, you kick it on, you got a dual readout. You can go from voltage to amperage. That's mainly what you use. You kick it over to do whatever else, capacitance, ohms. This one, the good thing about it, and the reason I got it is because it does the microamps DC for checking like furnace stuff. So there that is. Usually keep those little ends on there. I got the little super thin ones for getting into more like circuit board kind of stuff, the little fine tips. And I carry these guys side saddled behind the bag, my little alligator clamps. Those are pretty good. They don't, you know, they ride there pretty decent. But yeah, I like to keep my meter outside the bag. I had the LC for about a week, that old big old Tech LC, and it was just a little too big for me. It was cool because you keep your meter inside the bag and it was safer. But man, I just like having this sucker where you can just reach in, grab that meter when you only got one hand free. That's just how I like it. Your mileage may vary. Moving on. This light. I love this light. The zebra light. It's a little 90 degrees right there. It takes AA batteries. You unscrew that, you got it on your head, the battery's getting low, you need to change it out. You got a AA in your pocket, unscrew that, bloop, drop it out, slap in one battery, one AA battery, screw it back on, you're back in the game. I understand if you like having a giant light that makes, you know, you basically got a floodlight strapped to your head with a rechargeable battery about the size of a Cadillac on the back of your skull. And that's cool if you need all that, but this makes enough light to do what you need to do. It's got that frosted lens. It makes, it's the white light instead of the bluish LED light. It works better for this reason. It doesn't wash out colors. You can see the colors of some faded wires better. If you got a that blue light, I don't know, it looks better. I love this thing. I really need to get another one as a backup. They're a little pricey. They're like 50 or 60 bucks, but to me, it's worth it. All right, the tool side. On the outside, I got my stubby Kleins. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people like to mount a condenser about 4 inches off of the wall on some of those upper platforms and crap like that. They put those damn platforms too close to the house. So that's what you got to use to get your condenser stuff off. Or, you know, you got a line set in the way or basically anything. But you know what little stubby screwdrivers are for. They're Klein, they're good, they're magnetic. If you don't got them, get a couple. They come in a set. Jumping into the bag. Long shaft. It's like these guys, but they're longer. On mine, that wears out pretty quick, so I just threw some tape on the back so I know what I'm grabbing for in the dark. Put a little heat shrink on there. Insulate a little bit, try to save me from getting shocked. Like I said, that's not, UL isn't gonna ride off on that, but it's good enough for me. I hadn't got shocked yet. Knock on wood. All right, here's my 1/4 inch ratchet. There are many like it, but nothing is a thinner profile than the Proto. Look at that. That sucker is thin. You can get that in a lot of tight spaces. Thin this way, very small head. This is the smallest 1/4 inch I can find. When you're working in tight spaces, every freaking millimeter can save you frustration. That's why I got this guy. I carry 2 sets of sockets, and they're just the cheap Harbor Freight, but they're 1/4 inch drive. Like I said, space savings, that's the way to go. Keep them on this little rail, they slide in there, they're all together. The fruity looking colored ones, because it's easier to differentiate between which one you need. There's my long ones, there's my short ones. Why do I carry 2 pair? Because you're up on a roof and you need a long socket. You don't got to go back down to the van. They only weigh a few ounces. It ain't gonna kill you. Cutters. Man, it's getting a little dark. Greenlee, they got that little bit of bend to them. Right on, right on. Greenlee again. Mostly do Klein nowadays, but man, Greenlee makes good stuff too. That's my insulated needle nose. No explanation needed there. You gotta work on stuff when it's hot sometimes, even though you're not supposed to. These can keep you from getting shocked. Klein, Phillips, flathead. They're damn good. I like the Klein grips better. I retired my old Pratt & Reed that I had forever and ever. I just love the Klein grips. There you go, Greenlee, that's my multi. And here's what I do with my multi. You got your Phillips and flathead on this side, obviously. Well, I took that out. It's got my Schrader valve tool in there. The other side's got your combination bit for doing like junction boxes and some of your other connectors that have that electrical combo bit. That's all in that multi bit right there. Like I said, overmolded grip. I love those things. Moving on. Offset service wrench. I use this most of the time. Very rarely does this not fit, and usually keeps your hand away from that stinking thing, gives you a little bit of extra room to work. If not, got the straight one. Use that for you know, doing refrigeration calls, whatever else on walk-in coolers. Let's see, there's my long bits. These are Wera Weehaw. Don't cheap out and get the El Cheapo ones off Amazon. Get the genuine Weehaw ones. They're made out of better metal, just to make it easier to identify. 1/4, 5/16, 3/8. Throw those in my brushless Milwaukee. Pulls it right out. There we go. It's got a Phillips on there. It's one of them DeWalt guys. This little dude, bent nose. Use that for doing thermostats. It makes it way easier to get in there and get them thermostat wires when they want to fight you. You can get in there and then tighten it down with this. This is the one I got out of a multi-set. It is a 260 millimeter by 3 by 60, made in Germany. Weehaw makes good stuff. I threw a little heat shrink on there to insulate it, just so you don't risk putting your, you know, your common wire, your red wire, something else touches the shaft and shorts to another one. Then you're up in an attic, either changing a fuse if you're lucky and changing a transformer if you're not. A little heat shrink will save you a big headache. Make those quick, easy thermostat jobs quick and easy. Moving on. Little bitty midget wrenches. Combination wrenches. It's like everything from 7/16. Yeah, 7/16 down to 5 and size you don't use. All the little tiny stuff. Those come in handy. Man, you got them right there in the bag. Why not? Gonna save you a headache. Some extra bits. That's the little wobbly 5/16 and 1/4 where you break it loose and it's got to just hit it at an angle if you're trying to get around a line set or you know, anything. For channel locks, I got the Knipex, Knipex, 8801 250s. These are the alligator ones. They don't have the little lock and deal where you adjust it right there. The most important thing, nice and thin profile. You can get what you need to get, grab it. Some of them other channel locks are getting a little ridiculous these days. Those ones are nice and thin, and I can't overstate the quality of these things. Like, there's my little ones, made out of good quality steel. You get what you pay for. You go buy cheap shit, you get what you pay for. Oh, look, another Knipex tool. Pliers, wrenches. The 250s, those are great for fitting in a tool bag. They'll fit in this Emcee bag. The size up from this, I use for taking my regulator off my nitrogen bottles, all that stuff, so it stays on the other side of the van over yonder. Inside my big Milwaukee box where I got my Sawzall and some other stuff, I got the big pair of these. I've used it once for like doing the tow ball on my van, stuff like that. You'll use it once or twice a year, that big one, but man, when you do got to use it, it's good to have it on there. If nothing else, you can use it as a sledgehammer because it is giant and it is expensive, but it will last forever. Little pair of Vise Grips, you know, always good to have a pair of Vise Grips on you, even if they're the small ones. Moving on. That's my little Pratt & Reed insulated screwdriver. Had that thing forever. It's little bigger than thermostat size. Sometimes you got to have a little, you know, in between flathead, and that's what that's for. It's more useful like in a chemical plant scenario because some of your connections use that stuff. Little bitty insulated Phillips. Again, that's good for thermostats, and then getting those little protective covers off your contactors, stuff like that. Lineman pliers, actually used for doing line work. Bam. Man, if you don't have a set of lineman pliers in your bag, you're gonna need them eventually. Throw them in there. They don't take up too much space. Getting about to the end of the bag here. This little guy is a Stanley Proto double box end 5/16 quarter. This thing is very fine tooth, super high quality. I think this thing cost me like 25 bucks off of eBay. It's that pretty black chrome finish. Man, this is gonna save your butt one day or another. Super thin if you got something you can't get around, an obstruction of some kind. This will keep you from cussing and throwing stuff. You can get this thing in such, you know, a tight area. I use it maybe once or twice a month, and when I do, I'm glad I have it. Like I said, you can find this on eBay. They're like, damn, like I said, about 25 bucks, which seems ridiculous for a little wrench like this, but it's quality. It'll last you forever. It's got the splined deal on there. It fits everything. If you don't got one, get one. And I got my little standard Crescent wrenches. I do love the pliers wrenches from Nipex, but these little guys, you always got to have these for, you know, doing a TXV or something. Sometimes you can't get those pliers wrenches in there. That's where these come in. This one opens up wide enough to get on most of those caps for your service valves, but most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, 99% of the time, this right here, this Nipex, your 8701 150s, this will get your service valve caps off. It opens up wide enough. Let's get that rascal open. That sucker opens up wide enough, it'll get on there, get that sucker broke loose, even if it's got a bunch of nylog on it. Man, that's really it. Over on the side, just to wrap up, I made this out of a piece of a toe strap, or a ratchet strap, just with a little carabiner to put my electrical tape, different colors for marking stuff. I usually throw some blue on there if I've changed anything on the wiring diagram. You know, someone's got to go behind me if you unwire something, take it loose. Man, put some bright colored electrical tape on there, so somebody comes behind you, another tech, you tell them, hey man, I disconnected these wires. I put blue tape on them. Hook up the yellow to the other side of it. Say, yeah, put all the blue, or hook all the blue to the blue, hook all the yellow to the yellow, and that'll put it back like it needs to be. You know, that's just something I've picked up on. A few tie wraps off to the side for cleaning up wires. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. All y'all out there, the sun's kind of gone down on me. It's gotten a little dark, so sorry about this video being dark, but that's my tech MC. I don't care if it's a tech or not. I'm a tech. This is the Tech MC. I've had it for over a year. Love it. Haven't upgraded. It's about the perfect size bag. So that's just what I carry on me. Maybe one day I'll do a van tour. I've only been doing this job for about, well, less than 2 years. Jumped into HVAC without any schooling. Just learned it on the job as I was going. And as you can see, that's what I carry around with me. And I'm out there running calls and getting jobs done. So any questions, drop them down there in the comments. I appreciate y'all watching. This video is almost half an hour long. That's ridiculous. This job's ridiculous. So see y'all later.